Are we ready to start discussing these yet? No? All right. Is everybody okay with expanding? I might have made an error. Where?
I think you forgot to put it at 5 in front of the end or the first.
Oh, yes, I did indeed. Thank you. 5. Yeah, just an error of omission because I forgot to check that. Did I remember it every other time? 2m times 5, yep. 2 times 5, yeah, I just forgot it the first time, yep. Remember, all of expansion is the exact same as the easiest one. If you can do this, 2 times 3x plus 4, you can do everything else. It just takes longer. What is 2 times 3? 6. X plus 2 times 4 is 8. Right? That's all we've done every time. This time, I had to do it 6 times. 1, 2, 3. That was this line right here. 1, 2, 3. Then I had to do it 1, 2, 3. That was this line right here. And then I add them up to get my total. Now, if you're worried about this, it's stressing you out, you're having issues, whatever be the case, remember, it doesn't matter how long or how involved a math problem is. I am looking for something from you. Right? All of you could do one of these two. All of you can make one of these two lines happen because every single one of you can do this. Right? Just give me something. Okay? Here, I had to do the same thing, but I had to do it 3 times. I had to run the m through everything. And that was the blue line. So if these two things weren't here, I just ran the m. There they are. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Right? Then I ran the green one. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Then I ran, the purple might be too thick to see through. Yeah, it is. Then I'll just leave it white. It's not highlighted at all. Then I ran the 2. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Why have I stacked it this way? I'm keeping the exponents together because those are like terms that you learned in the 9th grade. Is everybody, at the very least, able to understand how I got that blue line? Okay. Now, where you're going to make errors is down here. You're going to screw up the adding and subtracting sometimes. You just are. Right? You all saw me. I forgot that first 5. Right? If I had handed this in to me without that first 5 at the very beginning, but everything else correct, I'm going to give that person 2.5 out of 3. Still an A. Right? Did I make an error in my math? No, because you can see I remembered it every other time. 2 times 5, 2 times 5. I remembered it every other time. So for me as a marker, that's an error of omission. You just forgot to write it down once. That's a memory. That's not a math problem. Everybody understand? Now, you could make an argument, well, then isn't everything we do wrong a memory problem because we just forgot how to do it? No, obviously not. because I didn't forget how to multiply by 5 every other chance I had. Does everybody understand? Okay. Now, factoring. Since this quiz is only on GCF, not what we did yesterday, all I'm looking at is the greatest common factor here. What is the greatest common factor? I have to consider numbers and all variables, yes? So what is the greatest common factor of 16, 8, and 24? It is 8, because 8 divides by 8, 16 divides by 8, and 24 divides by 8. So I know my GCF is at least 8. Is there anything else that is common to all three?
X.
There is an X in all three. X, X, X. This only has one X, so I can only have one X here. Is there anything else that is common to all three? Y. But this only has one, so I can only put 1. Now I have my greatest common factor, and now I rewrite it. What goes outside the brackets? The GCF. What goes inside the brackets? All of these answers. What is 16 divided by 8? 2. X squared divided by X. X. Y squared divided by Y. Y. Just like in our exponent unit that we just finished. Minus. What's 8 divided by 8? 1. Would we write it? No. What's X divided by X? 1. Y divided by Y? 1. Hey, wait a minute. They're all, we would never write them. But I still have to write something here, don't I? I can't write 0, so what do I write? 1. Just 1. Because no matter what we did there, 8xy divided by 8xy is 1. 7 divided by 7 is 1. 12 divided by 12 is 1. We have to write it there because it's not disappearing. It's still there. And 24 divided by 8? 3. X squared divided by X? X. Y cubed divided by Y? Y squared. And then this little guy hanging out here never got divided, did he? So he stays in there. And because this unit allows for this, more so than any other unit, I can just check. Is 8 times 2 16? Is x times x, x squared? Is y times y, y squared? I'm right. Is 8xy times 1 8xy? Yep. Is 8 times 3 24? Is x times x, x squared? Is y times y squared, y cubed? Is nothing times z, z? So we did it right. We can always check in this unit because we're either multiplying through or dividing backwards. So I can always reverse it at the end and make sure. What about this one? This one is exactly like a question I gave you on your test. I asked what was the greatest common factor of 12, 30, 24, and 72. And almost everybody put 12 because they forgot about 30. What's really the greatest common factor here? 6. So I'm going to divide everything by 6. Any letters? A. How many A's? 2 of them. A squared, because here I had 2. And then I do the exact same thing. I put the GCF outside, and then I do my math. 24 divided by 6 is 4. A6 divided by a squared is a4. B6 with nothing on the bottom stays as B6. Plus 2. A squared over a squared, it disappears. B5 plus 5. A squared over a squared is gone. Is everybody good? Okay. That's your warm-up. That's what your quiz is going to be on. Now, the homework I gave you, the first 4 questions are these type of questions. So we're going to go over them right now. Okay? Just those first 4. And then, while everything is fresh in your head, I think that's the time to hit you with the quiz, rather than waiting till the end of the day. Everybody okay with that? All right. So So if you could all turn to page 131, we'll do the first 4. We'll do our quiz. If you're not finished 131, work on that after the quiz. We'll mark the quiz. If you get finished all of 131, you can give 132 a try, but as of number 4, it gets pretty tricky. So if you are going to try 132, make sure you do it in pencil so you can erase when I get to going over it with you. Okay? All right, so let's look at this first one. Factor completely. Factoring means I'm going to do some dividing. There's only 2 numbers there, so I can't do that multiply 2, add 2 thing, right? So it has to be GCF. What is the GCF? A is in both of them. How many A's? 1. So A goes there. A cubed divided by A is A squared. A over A disappears, minus X. Done. If you don't get it, or you're unsure, you always check at the end. Is A times A cubed? Yes. Is A times X, AX? So we did it right. What about this one? What's the common factor? 9. Any letters? No. So 9 goes out front. D squared plus 3. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. What about 3? Five, because 5 goes into both, and X. How many X's can I get out of here? 3. How many out of here? 4. So what's the most I can get out? 3. That goes to the front. Then I do my answers. 2. 25 divided by 5 is negative 5. X to the 4th, X to the 3rd is X, Y. Good? And finally, 27 and 48, X and X. I'm not entirely sure, Mr. Myers. So we could do that thing from last unit where we found the GCF, right? Or we know our times tables and we know that it's 3. One of the two. So it is 3. Any letters? 1x, because I had 1x there. 3x. 9x squared minus 16. Right? Now, put a little star by that, because right now, for you guys, that's done. But in 2 lessons from now, there's more stuff we can do with that, and we're going to come back to it later. But for right now, the reason I put this question in is to show you, you know how to do something there. You might not know the next step, but you would get some credit. Does everybody understand? In 2 days, after I do that lesson, I'm going to say, now go back to page 131, number 4, and see if you can finish it. You finished it, yes. Good? Okay. The test, the quiz, is 6 multiplying and 6 of these. GCF factoring. Okay? I feel that 2 minutes a question is acceptable. That's 12 minutes. Plus, I always give you extra wiggle room. I'm going to give you 4 extra minutes. That's 16 minutes. If you're done, what do you do on page 131? You try to finish it. If 131's done, what do you do with 132? You try it in pencil, because as of number 4, it gets tricky. It's not difficult, it's just tricky. Everybody cool? You're going to put your name on the quiz. Are you going to hand it back to me? No, because we mark it in class. Is everybody good? Okay. remember, we're going to make everything worth 1 mark. Okay? I trust you as always. Now remember, just like in my warm-up, if your mistake is you forgot to multiply by 5 one time, don't take a mark off for yourself. Okay? I'm here for concepts. I'm not here for nitpicking. Everybody understand? All right. So this first one, I've got to distribute that 4x all the way through. So it's going to be 8x to the 4th minus 28x cubed plus 12x squared. Everybody happy? Great. Give yourself 1 mark. Number 2 is the exact same question with different numbers, so nothing changes. 56k to the 4th minus 48k to the 3rd minus 24k squared. Everyone should still be okay. If you got 1 right, you should have gotten 2 right. Is everybody good? Again, let's say you screwed up and you said 16k squared. You going to take a mark off for that? No. Because you knew you had to multiply. All right? FOIL. I got to multiply. If this guy wasn't there, you know you got to run 8 through there, right? So I get 48x squared minus 8x. Everyone cool? But once I've done that, I have to recognize that there is another one there. So now this guy's gone. Now I got to run negative 8 through. So that is negative 48x. Negative 8 times negative 1 is positive 8. And then I collect everything up. 48x squared minus 56x plus 8. Now, if you remembered to make 2 lines or something like that, however you write it on your piece of paper, you can have the full mark. Some of you are going to have done this wrong. Some of you are going to tell me that this was negative 40 or something like that. That's okay. All right? But I remind you that you could have used a calculator there, right? Negative 8 plus negative 48 is negative 56. Everybody still good? All right. Number 4 is the same one as number 3. If you did number 3 right, you should have been good here. There's the first one, 40a squared minus 35a. There's the second one. Then plus 16a minus 14. And then you just gather it up. Same way we've been doing it all along. 40a squared. Negative 35 plus 16 is negative 19a minus 14. Remember, if you set it up right but just screwed up your adding on a quiz, I'm giving you full marks anyway. Everybody still good? Okay, what's the difference in 5? No difference in 5 except there's a y at the end. So we do the same thing. 6x squared plus 12xy. Exactly, Elijah. Then here, plus 5xy plus 10, 5 times 2, y squared. Then we add it all up. And my computer's frozen, but you know as well as I do that it's 6x squared plus 17xy plus 10y squared. Now this one will take up a lot of room, but we just did one. How many lines would I need if I was doing this? If I was going to write out all the work? I'd need 3, wouldn't I? Because I'd have to run that guy through. That gets me 1 line. I'd have to run that guy through. That gets me a 2nd line. And I'd have to run that guy through. And that gets me a 3rd line. And my final answer would have been 5p to the 4th plus 15p cubed plus 2p squared minus 6p minus 4. So if you have your 3 lines and you have that close, give yourself your full mark. Okay, because there's 2 different things going on here, isn't there? There's the multiplying, which you guys sometimes forget how to do when you're under this pressure of time, and you forget that you can use your calculator. And then there's remembering how this actually works. Okay? Now, I don't mind showing you all 3 lines. Do people want to see that? I got nothing but time. Is there anybody that would like to see all 3 of these lines written out? Or is everybody happy? It's really similar to the one we did in the warm-up, right? Everyone's happy? Okay. All right. Factoring. Now there's some tricks down here, and there's more than one acceptable answer. The number that comes out of 72 and 40 is what? 8. So I'm going to bring out 8. Can I bring out any letters? No. So I'm going to bring out 8. So 8 comes here. That gives me 9x squared plus 5. If you have that, you get full marks. Some of you may have said, Mr. Myers, you said one point that we don't like a negative at the front of this. So maybe you took out negative 8 and you have 9x squared minus 5. Either one is correct. I will accept either one. Everybody cool? Okay. We like to get the negatives all the way to the front if we can. But that is something we like. That's not changing what we're actually doing. Does everybody understand the difference? Okay. So this number 8's the same one, right? I could bring that negative out to the front. If I bring the negative out to the front, this was going to be not 2, because 2 doesn't go into 9. It was going to be x squared and x squared. So I would bring out x squared, and then I either have negative 2x to the 6th plus 9, or I have negative x squared 2x to the 6th minus 9. Both are acceptable. Is everyone okay? Even if you got it wrong, you're okay now, right? Because the quiz doesn't hurt you. We use it to build on. Everyone's good? Okay, what's coming out of here? There's a lot of numbers there. What's coming out? 3. Any letters? Not a 6. I don't even know how that 6 got there. I'll just liquid paper over that. Shows how old I am, calling whiteout liquid paper. All right. So we know a 3 is coming out of there, so 3 goes to the front, and then I just run it through. Negative 6 plus 3p minus 8p squared plus 10p to the 6th. Done. In a perfect world, would we change this order? Yeah, what would go to the front? The 10p to the 6th, because it's the highest degree. Do I care? No. Everybody cool? Number 10's the exact same, isn't it? I can only take out a number, and that number is 3. But I threw one trick in there on you. What was it? I made that a y. Did I catch anyone? Minus 10x plus 16x squared. Did I catch anyone with the y? You don't have to take away a mark, but did I catch anybody? Sweet. What's coming out of here? Now we're down to the tricky ones. What?
10 is 6.
10 is 6. Oh my gosh, 10 is 6. What an idiot. Holy crap. Good job, everyone. Jeez. 10 is, of course, 6. What a maroon. 6. 7 plus 3y squared minus 5x plus 8x squared. Holy crap. Well done, everyone. I'm not even going to lie. I didn't do that on purpose. Nice. Now, wait. Myers can only get 11 out of 12. All right. What's coming out of 11? 3m squared n squared. 3 works with all of them, and those are the biggest letters I can get out. 3m squared n squared. And then I do my answers.
4 n4 n4 plus 7n cubed minus 4.
Everybody good? And what's coming out of the last one? The last one's another one of these negative ones, right? So I'll accept either one.
Negative 2x squared.
-2x squared, so that's out front. And what did I leave in there?
y7
minus 8x squared. Or, I'm perfectly happy to take 2x squared negative y7 plus 8x squared. And give yourself a mark out of 12. I'll get that from you another day. How are we feeling? Everybody feeling fairly strong? Yeah? Okay. If we could move on back to page 131, let's go over 5 through 12. That's what we did yesterday, right? Everybody take a stretch, talk to your neighbor, get it out of your system for a minute. Then we'll come back to page 131. Alrighty. Everyone's on 131, yeah? Okay. So, trinomial that doesn't have a common factor, right? Because there's no common factor here, because that's 1, 20, and 64. So there's no common factor, so we move to our second form of factoring. We remember, I showed you guys how to do it with algebra tiles. That's what's actually happening. But then I gave you a little shortcut, which was you need numbers, that's A, that's B, that's C. You need numbers that multiply to which? C, 64, and add to which? B, 20. So I need to multiply to 64 and add to 20. Is it 1 and 64? No. 2 and 32? No. 4 and 16? Yes. So I know it's 4 and 16, and since everything's positive, it must be 4 plus positive 4 plus 16, yes? X plus 4, X plus 16. And we can check. 4 plus 16, 20. 4 times 16, 64. Got it. What's weird about 6? The order is messed up, isn't it? It's not A, B, C. It's A, C, B, isn't it? Are we allowed to change the order? Sure we are. We would rewrite this as x squared minus 9x plus 20. And now I need numbers that multiply to what? 20 and add to what? Negative 9. What are they? It's 4 and 5. I don't even need to go through them all, do I? But since that one's positive and that one's negative, it must be minus 4 and minus 5. Now, is this okay? Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yes. Everybody's good? It's what we did yesterday. Now, what about number 7 and 8 is only there because this is a math class? The 0. Would I ever write the 0 in real life? No. It's only there because it's a math class. Because this is the exact same as x squared minus 64, right? But I put that 0 there to remind you that I need to multiply to 64 and add to 0. What is it? 8 and negative 8, right? X plus 8, x minus 8, which should make your brain go, that looks weird, because the lesson that we're doing tomorrow is going to deal with this the way it's written instead of with that 0. And you notice that the first factor was the square root of x squared, x and x. And the second factor was the square root of 64, 8 and 8. Everybody noticed that, right? So what's this one?
12.
It's going to be x plus 12 and x minus 12, except I threw a trick in there. What was it?
X cubed.
It's got to be x cubed, because x times x, 3 plus 3 to make the 6. Right? Now we're back to normal. Multiply to what?
9, negative 9, negative 2.
Yeah, I need to multiply to 18 and add to negative 11. It's not 1 and 18. Is it 2 and 9?
Yes.
Yeah. 2 and 9. How do 2 and 9 get to negative 11? X minus 2, x minus 9. Okay, what's weird about 10? There's a 2 in front. We got to get rid of it. What gets rid of times 2? Divide by 2. Does divide by 2 work all the way across?
Yeah.
So we do that. We divide everything by 2, and we rewrite x squared plus 14x plus 13. There is something we can work with because there's no coefficient. I need to multiply to 13 and add to 14. Is it 1 and 13?
Yeah.
Yes. 2, x plus 1, x plus 13. Everybody good? Okay, what's weird about 11?
There's x.
x4. Well, when it was x squared, it was x and x. So when it's x4, what is it? X squared and x squared. Does anything else change? No. Multiply to negative 10, add to 3. Is it 1 and 10?
No.
Is it 2 and 5?
Yeah.
Yes. Which one? Is it 5 minus 2 or 2 minus 5?
5 minus 2.
5 minus 2 to get a positive. So plus 5 minus 2. Is everybody good at that one? That's the one that causes you guys the most trouble. When it's a negative at the end and a positive in the middle. That messes your heads up. Is everyone okay with it?
Yes.
All right. And the last one, what's weird in 12? There's a b squared. Well, we know it's got to be a and a to make the a squared. What makes the b squared? B and b. Does anything else change? No. So I have to multiply to 36 and add to negative 12. Is it 1 and 36? 2 and 18? 3 and 12? 4 and 9? 6 and 6? Yes. Negative 6b, negative 6b. If you left it like that, have you factored it completely? Yes. Have you written it as simply as possible?
No.
What could you do? One last thing.
Square.
A minus 6b squared. Do I care? No. Is everybody at least have a a finger hold on this kind of factoring? Everybody? So like if you went home and I gave you a sheet and you actually did it, you would come back with some of it done and you would know how to do it, yes?
Yes.
Imagine yourself doing it. You could? Okay. Turn the page over and let's do, like I said, the first two are easy. The third one does something a little weird. The fourth one does something weirder still. And they get a little bit weirder as we go through. But we have all the tools to do these all the way down. But I'm going to show you some tricks. Is there any trick to number one? No trick to number one. It's just a trinomial, right? I changed the letter, but does that change anything? No. So I need to multiply to what? Minus 40 and add to what? 3. Is it 1 and 40? 2 and 20? No. 4 and 10? 5 and 8? 5 and 8 won't make 3 in any way. How would I make 5 and 8 get me 3? Is it 8 minus 5 or 5 minus 8? 8 minus 5. So it's Z minus 5 and Z plus 8. Everybody good? Okay, what's the next one? I need to multiply to what? What is it? Five and 4. Y plus 5. Y plus 4. What's weird about 3? It's not a trinomial, is it? Okay. What do you notice? There, 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 and there. They're the same things, aren't they? So can we put them together like in grade 9? How many x squareds do I have there? 2x squareds. How many x's do I have there? No. I have minus 3 and minus 9 more. Which is how many? Negative 12x plus 8. That's a trinomial, but we still don't like its looks, do we? What don't we like about it? I don't like that 2, so we get rid of it. I get rid of that 2 by dividing by 2. Does that dividing by 2 work all the way through? Yep. So I have 2x squared minus 6x plus 8. Now, are there numbers that multiply to 8 and add to negative 6? Is it 1 and 8? Is it what? Oh, I did divide the 8. Thank you. 4. Are there numbers that multiply to 4 and add to negative 6? 1 and 4? Does that make 6? 2 and 2? So is it done?
Yeah.
Yes. Even though this looks really suspicious, doesn't it? We should be able to factor that, but we cannot. Everybody good? Okay, what's weird about 4? You should simplify first, shouldn't you? What can I do with that and that? What can I do with them? Divide them? But the sign's a positive. What can I do with the 3k squared and the 15k squared? Add them to get 18k squared minus 18k. Now what do you notice? What's the number that's in both of them? 18. What's the letter that's in both of them? Which means I can take out an 18k from both sides, can't I? What goes out front? 18k. What goes here? K. What do we write when we have the same thing, but we can't leave it blank? Minus 1. Everybody good? Okay, you guys do 4 and 5 5, 6, and 7 on your own. And then something weird's going to happen at 8.
I won't be here by 8, that's okay.
Huh?
I won't be here by 8, that's okay.
He's going to have left by 8 p.m. because I said something weird is going to happen at 8. Yo, yep. This was just what was on your quiz. What number is coming out of 24 and 18? What number is coming out of 24 and 18? Elijah just gave the first sound of the number. 6. What letter is coming out of both? X. How many X's? Cubed. Why? Because this guy will let me have 3 of them. Is the Y coming out?
Yes.
Yep, because they both have 1 to give. So it's 6x cubed y, 4x minus 3. Everybody good? Okay. In number 6, should that 0 be there? It's only there for math class. So what this really is that, right? And we know that we take the square root of the first one. What's the square root of x?
9. Oh no, X.
X plus 9,
Minus.
x minus 9. Then what do I do here? What's different?
0.
The 0's still there, so we don't want him.
There's X squared.
It's x squared, isn't it? So it's x squared plus 16, x squared minus 16. Look at that for a second and tell me if that's okay.
That's okay.
Is it? What do you see there and there? Does that have a square root? Does that have a square root? Is there a minus in the middle? What do we do when we have a square, and a minus in the middle? We have to factor it again, don't we? This guy's a plus in the middle. Can we do anything with him? We haven't yet. X squared plus 16. What's this now? X. When it was 81, it was plus 9 minus 9. So when it's 16, what is it? Plus 4 minus 4. Everybody good? Okay. 8 is when everybody freaks out. Right? What do you want to do right there? You want, not FOIL, but you want to distribute it, right? You want to write this as x squared minus 2x, correct? And what do you want to do there? Same thing, plus 3x minus 6, correct? And then what would you do with those two numbers? Add them up to get x squared plus x minus 6, correct? And then what would we do with that? No, not distribute. We'd factor it, right? And to factor that, we would need numbers that multiply to negative 6 and add to 1, correct? It's 3 and 2, right? So I would have x plus 3 and x minus 2. Does everyone see my progression there? How many steps did it take? 3. Everybody agree? Now, I'm going to erase my highlighting and I'm going to show you guys something. I'm going to highlight x plus 3 in yellow, and I'm going to highlight x minus 2 in blue. Look back at the original question. What do you see? There's the x minus 2 right there. There is the x plus 3 right there. Does everybody see that? Because those brackets group the x plus 2 together, don't they? So that makes x minus 2 a factor, doesn't it? And isn't x minus 2 in both of them? So isn't it a common factor? I'm going to rewrite this in orange in a different way that makes this easier to see. Watch. X times a plus 3a. Does everybody see what I have done here? You see that a is in both of them, correct? So if we were going to factor this, you would divide out an a, wouldn't you? And you would get a times x plus 3, correct?
Yeah.
Well, what did I do? I said a there. What did I make that? An a. Yes. Yep. Okay. Michael, you were needed in the office to sign a form or something. Does everyone see what I did there? I said that this thing that was the same in both of them, I just made it another letter. Look at how much easier it was. Take out the a, x plus 3. Well, a is x minus 2, so what would I write there now? X minus 2. And then I get the same answer in how many steps? 1. Does everybody see the trick? Okay. Have a look at 9. The way you want to do 9 is distribute, don't you? That's this. Tons of problems. But what do you notice? There and there. Are those the same thing? So I can make it another letter, can't I? What if I made those x? Why didn't I use a this time? Because there's an a in it already. If I put an a there, it's going to screw me up, isn't it? So this is really 2ax plus bx. Does everybody see that? Now it's obvious what is common to both of them. What is it? So if I divide both sides by x, I rewrite it as x 2a plus b, correct? But there's no x in the original question. What is x? A minus b. So how do I write this answer properly? X is a minus b, so I write a minus b 2a plus b. Does everybody see? Do you have to do it? It makes your life easier. If you understand all the distributing, is that okay to do too? Do I care which way you use? No. But trust me, I have factored a bazillion polynomials. I find this way to be easier once you practice it a little bit. Everybody cool? All right, the bell is about to go, and I do not want to snow you under with factoring because it's such an important thing for next year. I'm going to ask you, and I'm going to warn you, something weird goes on in number 10. All I want you to do tonight is number 10 and then those two multiplications. That's it. Okay? Just try number 10.